Right, so for this week, I didn't really know what kind of video to do again. That sometimes happens. I initially wanted to do a cycling video, but not like the ones that you might have seen before on my channel where I just cycle a little trip around. This one's going to be a bit more interesting because this is also the last opportunity I have for the near future to upgrade my old smartphone, the Galaxy A12, for a new one. So I was going to a local phone shop and they had for me an offer below €250, which was my budget. There were two Samsung smartphones. I wanted Samsung or other non-American or Chinese brands for the reasons that I might talk about later on. So there was others, but the best ones that I thought I could get were either the A34 or the A16, which is the direct successor to the A12 in the same line, that is. I ended up going for the cheaper model, even though the more expensive could have lasted a couple extra years. I don't really know if that will really be the case. Speaking of case, I also got a leather case to go along with it, and this time I also got a proper screen protector. So of course I recorded this well after everything has been installed and configured everything, so let's rewind the clock a little bit to the trip itself and what happened then.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Well, this is it, my new smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G. I was kind of doubting between the A16 and the A34, being told that the A34 would last a little bit longer, but I don't really do heavy-handed tasks on my smartphone like gaming or editing or anything. So I picked the A16. I did pick the 5G variant in case that would give me any benefits in the future. I've got this little packet of, I think mostly just paperwork, the ejector tool that we're going to need to set everything up. Yeah, some obviously boring paperwork. like a warranty, 2 years, and a USB-C to USB-C cable. Noticeably absent from the box, however, is any kind of power block. I thought Apple sided off that one. Here's the smartphone with the screen protector pre-installed and the headphone jack removed. So I've got my old Samsung Galaxy A12, the last smartphone I'll ever own, that comes with this headphone jack pre-installed, and here it's not. However, I have a solution, which is, for the moment, this, which is a little dongle from 3.5 to USB-C, which should fit in the USB-C port. There we go. This is... I hope that this is going to be a little mini audio interface and not a port replicator. That would have been stupid, but I can see the benefit of using better quality audio interfaces sometimes. So I'm just going to need to configure this, and then I'm actually going to trade in the A12 for money. And if I can see on the back here, I've got this import sticker, some logos, and 3 cameras, but I don't really care too much about the cameras on smartphones because I already have a digicam. I actually made a video about it before. Okay, so this time around, instead of using Total Launcher or Nova Launcher or Smart Launcher or of these, I'm actually using open source minimalist launcher, which just has 2 fields. One has a selection of apps that I use quite often. The other has all my apps. So like that. And there are a couple gestures here. Because I'm trying to do Google, a double tap, of course that opens up public transit, is swipe from the right to the left. That's the de-googling part there. That is not Gemini, that is Le Mistral, a French AI model. And from left to right, opens Mozilla Firefox. There has been a bit of talk about the terms of use, but I don't really care about that too much for personal use. Of course, my smartphone is actually connected, if you can notice, through this 3.5mm jack adapter to my amplifier. So, of course, if I open something up like YouTube, let me do that. Yep, you should just be able to hear that, and if I disconnect this to show that it's not a show, there we go, plug it in again, and it just works. Of course, there's the screen protector, which was added on very well because the seller did that for me. So I'm overall quite happy with the purchase of my new smartphone. It works quite quickly and of course does everything it needs to do at the moment. But it kind of makes me wonder a little bit, why do you have to replace your smartphone so often, like every 3 to 5 years nowadays, when old landline or early cell phones could last for decades until their respective networks shut down eventually, of course. But there are a couple of reasons why. Well, of course, there's exterior damage to the screen or to the back. There is internal damage, which typically happens due to water damage or a significant enough fall. And there is the battery degradation. Batteries only last a number of cycles in which they're drained and recharged, drained, recharged. Typically around 3,000 is where you should replace a battery. However, modern batteries cannot really be replaced. The only options are either to take the phone in for repair or to replace the phone. And the latter tends to be cheaper due to bullshit about ways in which companies restrict repairs. Another reason might be that the chipset in the old phone doesn't really run new applications that well, or even the same applications with enough updates. Both of these kind of were the reason I had to replace my phone. There was the physical damage. It fell off of a little side thingy and had a cracking in the screen whilst it was charging. The battery degraded quite significantly, and the application didn't really run that smoothly anymore. Another reason is actually kind of interesting. There's also update policies. Samsung does this quite well, but for other companies it might be that after a couple of years you'll need to replace your phone and you don't know why, other than that there's no updating anymore. Maybe it's just 2 years old and the updates have stopped. Maybe it never had updates and there's a new version of Android that you want to have for its more efficient design, or because of security reasons, for example banking accounts. And finally, there are some people who hope that by buying a new smartphone every year or a couple of years they'll get the latest and greatest features. That's becoming less and less true as companies stop innovating on hardware and start innovating on the software side of things. Most notably, of course, with AI, of course. See you another time. Bye bye. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up and share this video with all your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.